Google stirred things up in the cozy Android high-end phone market with its Pixel lineup of phones. For years, things in the Android space were settled between Samsung, LG, HTC, Motorola and others, but this year we have a truly new type of device. The Pixel is just that. The first phone by Google, one with the promise of timely updates and a sprinkle of Google magic. One of its biggest rivals in the United States is the LG V20, an excellent 5.7-inch phone with a secondary display, dual camera system and high-end audio. Let's see which is the better phone. The LG V20 is not a beauty queen, utilitarian and big, it's got a metal back, but there is still plastic at the top and bottom, plus there is a gigantic and unsightly camera hump at the back. The big Pixel on the other hand is a surprisingly well-crafted first-gen device. With an aluminum body and a glass accent, it feels well balanced in the hand and not as thick as on pictures. The V20 is also noticeably bigger than the Pixel XL and that might be an inconvenience. Wondering about any special water protection? Fortunately, that is none of the neat features present on these two phones. The battle between LCD and Amoled technology is obvious in these two. The V20 sports an LCD display while the Pixel has an AMOLED screen. The latter is also a statement of what Google thinks is the more promising technology for the future. So what is the actual screen quality? Both have Quad HD resolution, but the V20 has bluish whites and colors that are not well balanced. We look at the accepted sRGB standard for that. Now the Pixel XL is also not perfect, going for a slightly oversaturated look that has eye-popping colors, but there is also more accurate sRGB color mode in settings. We're happy to see that the V20 ships with the latest Android 7 Nougat on board, but don't expect to see the typical flat modern design, it's different. An LG look with a ton of customization options, so much that it can feel overwhelming. The Pixel XL also rocks Nougat, but there's one important distinction. It comes with the promise of timely updates on the Pixel, not something that the LG can offer. Both phones also offer signature Android 7 features like the double tap switcher, the new multi-screen multitasking and the new DOS mode for battery life. Google's Pixel, however, has the powerful Google Assistant, it's mind-bogglingly fast and accurate. It's also got the new live wallpapers that are truly stunning. Let's get the specs out of the way first. The Pixel XL runs on the newest Snapdragon 821, while the V20 rocks a slightly older Snapdragon 820 and both have 4 GB of RAM. Is there a difference between the two? Very slight one according to the benchmarks, but what about real life? We're very pleased to say that both phones feel fast, fluid and smooth with almost no stuttering. The experience is quite a treat on both, but we have to give it out to the Pixel in terms of how smoothly it handles the experience. When it comes to storage, the LG V20 has 64 GB on board and a microSD card slot. Now the Pixel only has 32 GB for the base model, there is a pricier and harder to get 128 GB version, but it does not have a microSD card slot. Now it does offer a Google Photo storage for free, but it's still not a microSD card slot. Google knew that it could not get away with a mediocre camera in a flagship phone, and that's why it put some real effort in making the Pixel XL take great pictures. The big Pixel takes picture with its HDR+ mode always on, and that's done on purpose. It's a very subtle HDR effect that produces stunningly well balanced images with great dynamics and rich color. We're also impressed with how fast the Pixel is able to lock focus. Now the V20 on the other hand captures a little less dynamics but a more realistic looks, which is different, a nice asset to have. There's also a super wide angle camera on the V20 that has more distortion and less sharpness, but it still has a pretty amazing effect to its pictures. Both the Pixel XL and the V20 can record 4K videos at 30 frames per second, and the two are neck to neck in terms of video quality. Both gets the basics right, but the Pixel is a bit faster with focusing, which is crucial for video, and while the V20 has optical image stabilization, it is the Pixel that produces more stable video with its clever software stabilization. Both phones rely on a single bottom firing speaker. Sound quality out of it is decent on the V20, but it does not shine, while the Pixel XL speaker is a little more refined, delivering really nice, clear and balanced sound. But the V20 really shines with a pair of nice headphones. The phone has a quad dock system that contributes to extremely low noise and distortion levels. The V20 also supports high fidelity audio recording with 3 high quality mics that prevent sound from clipping at events like concerts and clubs. As you'd expect from modern smartphones, both the Pixel XL and the LG V20 have very good call quality. Both are able to convey voices that sound clear, crisp and sufficiently loud. We have nothing to complain about. Now LG has not performed very well in terms of battery life recently. Last year's V10 and this year's G5 were subpar and took notice, included a slightly larger battery in the V20, but battery life is still not great. In our custom battery test, the Pixel was right in the middle of the rankings, but the V20 was even further behind. In real life, both phones are able to get you through a full day of use, but more intense use might actually deplete your V20 battery earlier. Now, both phones have quick charging. Here the V20 excels. It takes just an hour and a quarter to get its battery fully charged, while the Pixel takes 2 hours. At the end of the day, Google has delivered with its Pixel XL, a surprisingly solid phone, especially for a first-gen device. The V20 on the other hand is a better deal now, currently sold with a $200 gift card. And if we take price out of the equation though, we see a number of areas where it's the Pixel that's better or on par. It's more reasonable physical size, more refined design, camera that captures images that look better in video with faster focus, better stabilization, and also very smooth and fluid Android performance. We're not even getting in the future update situation or the battery life advantage. So if money is no concern, the reasonable recommendation will be the Google Pixel XL. The V20 is a good phone that can be found for a reasonable price, but it makes a few important compromises that would spoil the experience for users expecting the very best.